Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to install Ubuntu 16 on Ubuntu version 2022.04. So I already have my Ubuntu environment spined up. So to check the version of the Ubuntu that I'm using, you can type lsb release here. So you can see I'm on Ubuntu 2022.04.3 LTS. Codename is Jammy. So, firstly, you have to update your system. So you can do sudo apt update and sudo apt upgrade. Actually, I had already run these commands immediately I spun up the environment. So that's why it took this fast before it came up. So now the next thing you do is to create a system user. So you can do that by in sudo user add -m and -d to create its own home directory instead of going by the default home directory that usually come up whenever you spin up a Ubuntu environment. So you can decide which environment you want you can decide which directory you want the home directory of the system user to be created. So I'll go with the usual default of Ubuntu in the documentation. We'll do opt, we'll do 16, -u, -r, -s, and bin bash, and the name of the user. So in this case, I'm going to give the user a name as index. Then you put enter. So that's been done. You can check the user's properties by doing id index. So you can see the user is UID and the GI group ID and the group. You can also add the user to you can make the user a sudo user so that it can be able to run any command on the system as a root user. So user mode, you can add user to sudo group. Then you can also allow the user to run commands on Ubuntu, any command on Ubuntu. So making the user run making the user run commands without a password. However, this is not the best practice since the user would have access to all commands and we have root privilege to the server. So you can do add this to your sudo file. So you put the username and was all no. Okay, that's that. So you do Control S to save. Let me check that again if it has been saved properly. Okay, so you do Control S. No. And you do Control O to write out since you're using Nano, and Control X to exit. Okay, that's fine. So now that the system user has been created, let's switch to the new user. So we can start installing some dependencies and we go ahead to install Odoo. So just to save us some time, I'm going to just do some copy and paste here so that I don't take much of our time. Oh, my bad. I have to set password for the system user. So you can choose a password of your choice. Okay, now that I've changed the password, so I can now switch to the system user to continue with our installation. So first you install dependencies for Odoo. I'm just going to pause the video until dependencies have been installed so it doesn't take much of our time. Now the dependencies have been installed, so the next to do is just to install PostgreSQL. So we do sudo install PostgreSQL. So I have to pause the video again until PostgreSQL has been fully installed. So now Postgres has been installed. Now we have to create a Postgres user for Odoo to be able to perform operations in the PostgreSQL DB. So since we created the system user as index for Odoo, and as well just create the same for the Postgres user, just not to be confusing. Now we install wget-html to PDF, one of the dependencies for Odoo. Now wget-html to PDF has been installed on the server. I like to use Clay so that we can see the commands I use instead of them being at the top. You can at the bottom you can see them from the top. So to confirm that you have wget-html to PDF installed on your system, you can do wget-html to PDF dash version and say I have version 0.12.6. Next is to install Git, but the server that I'm using, the Ubuntu server that I'm using has come pre-installed with Git. So to check if Git has been installed on your system, you could just type Git and it's going to bring up series of commands. So with this, you should know that you have Git installed on your system. So clear this again. So next we have to clone Odoo from GitHub. So you can clone Odoo from GitHub with this command. So I'm going to put in these links in my YouTube comment section so that you can have the link where you can download depending on the Odoo version you intend to install. However, you need to be sure that you are in the home directory of the system that you intend to clone Odoo into. So since I'm logged in as index system user, you can just do pwd present working directory in the terminal to show you where you're at. So you can see that you are in opt and odoo 16 directory. So you can go ahead and clone your git into this directory because you are going to use it later on while you are configuring Odoo. So this will take a while. I'll also pause the video so it doesn't eat up our time. I don't want the video to be too lengthy in order for it not to be boring. Now user has been installed, so we can just do and list the you can see that Odoo has been downloaded. We have Odoo 16 downloaded from GitHub. We've already cloned the repository from GitHub. So I still try to see what's in the directory. So I think everything that has to do with Odoo has been installed, has been cloned from GitHub. So we have to set up Odoo 16 within a Python environment, virtual environment, since the cloning process has finished. So you type Python 3 -m virtual environment 16 vmv. Okay, so now we have the virtual environment set up for us for the 16. So you can see we have a virtual environment set up for the 16. So all you need to do is we need to activate the virtual environment by running source 16 virtual environment bin, and you activate. And you can see we are already in the virtual environment. That is why we have a prefix of Odoo 16 dash VM venv. So let me play so you can see my screen clearly. Now what we do next is to install wheel. So we can type pip3 install wheel. Successfully installed wheel 0.41.3. Now we have to install the Odoo 16 requirement.txt. The requirement.txt file contains Python and Odoo 16 dependencies. So we do pip3, right? We type pip3 install -r Odoo 16 and requirement.txt. So we wait for this to run. While we wait, I'm going to pause the video so it doesn't eat up our time as well. Now the requirement.txt file has been installed. So let me create this once again. And we have to make, let me deactivate. So after that, you can deactivate from the virtual environment and have to make a custom add-on folders where we can store our custom modules. And you do mkdir. I'm checking the permissions for the custom add-ons. You have to be sure that Sudo has necessary privilege to be able to write into the custom add-ons. Okay, you can see the folders in Odoo 16 directory, the everything in Odoo 16 directories belongs to the user index. Okay. Now we have to create Odoo's configuration file. So you do sudo. Where you can use any text editor of your choice. Do it. Setting up the config file. You can change the default port to whatever port number you choose to use. So this is my config file for Odoo. After that, I have to create a system D unit for Odoo 16 so it can behave like a service. So I do sudo. Yeah, you can use any text editor of your choice. Let's see system D system and name your service file. So I'm going to copy and paste the code I have written somewhere here. So depending on your user and group. So since my Odoo user is index, I have to change this to index. Depending on the user you created at the initial setup stage. Then I think I'm good to go here. After that, you do sudo systemctl daemon reload to reload the system daemon. Now you can before I start up Odoo, I need to make a directory where Odoo log file will sit in. So I do sudo nkdir log Odoo 16. That's good. So I can now restart. So you can check if Odoo is up and running. Status. You can see Odoo is up and running. So so once you are done with the setup, you can go to the URL and just check the that Udo is up by typing your Ubuntu's Ubuntu server's IP address column the port number that you set in your Udo config file. So your Udo should be up and running. Thank you. I hope you are able to get something from this step-by-step installation.